Hey, welcome back to the stash. There's something about seeing Batman issue 1 on a comic cover that instantly feels important. It doesn't matter how many times it's happened before, that number and that name carries weight. It signals a clean slate, a new creative vision, and the promise of something that might just redefine Gotham for an entire generation of readers. Every new Batman era starts here, and that makes opening a book like this feel less like a casual reading and more like a moment, and my god, was I excited when it came to this series' moment. But with that excitement comes risk, because Batman, the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader, is a true icon of DC Comics. He's been interpreted, reinvented, and rebooted more than almost any other character in fiction, and with every new beginning, there's always that pressure. The pressure of, is this going to be a new story that leaves a mark, or just another run that we move past in a year or two? Those questions hang over every page of a new Batman issue 1. That's what makes picking up a book like this so thrilling, yet so nerve-wracking at the same time. You don't know what kind of Gotham you're about to step into, you don't know what version of Bruce you're about to meet, you don't know if the villains, allies, and mysteries will fall flat, or if they'll spark something new that keeps you coming back month after month. But what you do know is, the second you turn that first page, you're stepping into a vision of Batman that someone believes is worth telling right now. And that's why this book had my attention from the very start. Not only did they believe it was worth telling, they seemed extremely confident that it was worth telling. From the moment it was announced, it was one of the issues I was looking forward to the most to read this year. There's a certain excitement that comes with knowing you'll get an experience, a brand new vision of Gotham the second it hits the shelves. Especially when it looks as promising as this one does. And so walking into my comic shop, grabbing the brand new copy of Batman issue 1, it felt like the beginning of something worth paying attention to. But hey, real quick, here at the stash, we're swinging for 17,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Now that's a tall order, but just like how Gotham's got its Dark Knight, I've got you guys, and all you gotta do is click subscribe. So if you're into Batman or just comic deep dives like this, feel free to stick around. Also, before I forget, be sure to stick around to the end of the video because I'll be showing you some of my personal favorite Batman comic covers from my own personal comic collection. Or you know, if you really want to see them first, I have chapters marked down below so you can skip around the video. But with all that being said, let's jump right back into the video. So our story begins with a breakout. One of a certain Waylon Jones, aka Killer Croc. Jim knows this is way out of his league. They need the help of this city's Dark Knight, the Batman. Batman though is a bit mentally drained. The constant feeling of being let down by those he apprehends and the constant refusal by them to change for the better has gotten to him. He's lost hope. Even with the doctor telling him about Croc's progress, but how in his mental regression he's in turn found progression, he still just doesn't believe it. And so with all that, he then sets out to find Killer Croc. On his way to the museum, he finds a gang called the Creeps causing havoc among Gotham citizens. Batman doesn't have the time nor patience for this, and so in a far more brutal display than usual, he easily takes down the criminals. Soon after, he then walks over to the museum and begins his detective work until finally, he finds Killer Croc. Jones, however, is calmly sitting there staring at the giant dinosaur. He looks peaceful. But Batman has some rather more intense ideas. He tries to get the fight over with, but Killer Croc isn't bothered. He tells Batman to leave, and Alfred, being the angel on his shoulder, helps Bruce realize that maybe not everyone is beyond help, that maybe Killer Croc has become something of that a child. And so Bruce tries a different, more warmer approach. He talks to Jones, and the two share a genuinely heartwarming scene. They converse about all kinds of things until eventually, the doctors from Arkham find him. It's time for Jones to go home. As a parting gift though, he gives Batman his toy dinosaur. Later in the new Batcave, Bruce adds the toy into his trophy display. But then, he receives contact from Robin on emergency frequency. He needs help and fast, because right now, it seems like his night is only just beginning. We finally have a good start to a brand new Batman comic. It's been such a long time coming. I have severely missed the feeling after the mediocrity of Jeff Loeb's Hush 2 and the pretty all-round boring run of Detective Comics by Tom Taylor. To put it simply, I was dying for this book. It was on my wish list the second it was announced, and so to finally see it ready to pick up at my comic store, it sure got me incredibly excited. And after getting the chance to sit down, relax, and immerse myself within this world Fraction is crafting, I was pretty pleased with just how much I enjoyed it. It felt like a big event, and I mean it is a new Batman issue 1 after all, and I understand the whole underlying motives behind renumbering. It's a thing that even I find quite annoying, especially when Marvel do it, but here for this series, I'd be lying if I said seeing issue 1 in the corner didn't fill me with a sense of excitement. But so, yeah, DC takes the risk and reboots Batman, and my god, am I happy they took that risk. Let's start off with the story because I actually really liked it. Bruce here is clearly going through some issues. He's weighed down by something. I'm guessing Alfred's death definitely plays a part in it, and as a result, his outlook on the world and those he fights has become bleaker than ever before. He's pretty stubborn with his no one changes mindset, and yet as his wall ever so slightly comes down as the issue progresses, it's all thanks to this one scene with Killer Croc. One I had no clue would be in store for us to read when I first sat down. This scene, for me, was the highlight. Bruce, in the first half, in a weird sense, didn't feel human. But here, I couldn't help but smile with the way he connected with Waylon Jones. It was genuinely a really heartwarming scene. And I love the way that this person, who he harshly labelled unfixable throughout, perhaps set things in motion for Bruce's own mental battle to be fixed. I also really like seeing something different with Jones. It gets a tad boring after a while when he cycles through the same few archetypes, so I love how Fraction used Croc's mental regression as a form of character progression. It's the scene that stood out to me, and in all honesty, it defined the issue as well. As for the other elements of the comic, I thought they were pretty fine. The creeps didn't serve much of a purpose besides what felt like just reinforcing Bruce's dark, stubborn outlook on the criminals of Gotham. The fight scene was brutal too. Felt very Arkham-y as well with the ways he took them down. One thing I'm kind of indifferent to is the Commissioner Savage stuff. I'm just not really interested all that much in the character himself, even with his appearances in other titles. And so while I do think that that part of the story has potential, it'll still be something that needs to really impress me in order to form an interest in. There's just something about the character that I just don't really care about. I think the only time I liked Savage was during that one Justice League episode where Superman got sent into that apocalyptic future. His redemption arc in that was great, in the way that him and Superman just worked together to get things back to normal. But anyway, a talking point I saw online that had some fair amount of discussion was the choice to bring Alfred back, but as an AI hologram. To me, this kind of just says that they're trying to commit to his death, but at the same time realized how much his presence is missed within his absence of the book. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Alfred. Who doesn't like Alfred? Do I wish he wasn't dead? Yeah, 100%. Am I glad he's back in a small capacity? Yeah, I'll take it. He still manages to capture the classic Alfred charm, as well as being the voice of reason for Bruce. In fact, him being a hologram works better in some cases, since it's like he's right next to Bruce while he's working, allowing his input to have more weight and effect, since in a sense, it's a direct conversation. But now I think it's time to talk about the art, and let me tell you right off the bat, it's fantastic. Jorge Jiménez shines within this issue. From the cover to every panel in the interior, his art gives this book a definitive style and a unique feel. Some shots are genuinely beautiful, and there's never an instance where I was dissatisfied by what I was seeing. His designs are great too. I love the look of the Batmobile. Honestly, just give me one that isn't a tank and I'll almost always be happy. But this one here is awesome. I love the way it looks so sleek yet bat-like at the same time. But in my opinion, the very best part of his designs has got to be this batsuit. I love this batsuit. The crazy thing is how much of a simple, small tweak it was, but it's one that immediately separates this from the rest. This sort of blue logo, boots, gloves, capes, trunks, everything about this suit, to be honest, just feels like the perfect next step for his main outfits. I honestly really hope that the DCU even goes as far as to adapt this look specifically for their Batman. But at the end of the day though, what stuck with me the most is how for the first time in a long time, I closed a Batman comic and actually felt that rush again, that initial spark, and that sense that Gotham was alive in a way that this world mattered, and that there was actually something worth following here. It's been missing for me for quite some time, and this issue reminded me why Batman as a character and as a mythos can still grab a hold of you when it's handled with care even after the many decades of comics. That's a feeling that you just can't simply fake. It comes from genuine storytelling, genuine artistry, and a creative team that clearly wants to give the readers something special to read. Sure, not every beat was perfect, there are still some threads here I'm not fully sold on, and there are elements that will need to prove themselves as the run develops, but even with those aspects, the foundation Fraction and Jimenez laid down is more than solid. It's exciting. You can sense intent in the pages. It's not just spectacle for the sake of spectacle, and it's not just recycling the same tired Batman tropes we've seen a dozen times in the past decade. There's thought and direction behind it, an actual plan for Bruce Wayne and his world. That's what gives me confidence that this series isn't going to vanish into the background like so many other new beginnings tend to. And that's the thing that I've wanted to feel the most, to feel like Batman matters again since Detective Comics did such a poor job of that. I love how it feels like picking up the next issue isn't a chore, but something I actively look forward to. I want a Batman book that I can argue about, that I can get invested in, that makes me think about what Bruce is going through long after I put it down. And this issue gave me that spark. It's the kind of start that pulls you in and makes you wonder just how far this creative team is willing to push things, and if this first chapter is any indication, then maybe, just maybe, we're on the verge of something great. Something that respects the weight of everything that's come before, but isn't afraid to carve out its own identity. Something that understands Batman isn't just about darkness and brooding, but about finding the cracks in that darkness where humanity can shine through. That's what this book captured for me. And if they can keep building on that, then we might be entering a new golden stretch for the Dark Knight. Hello, we are doing this again. Yes, we are looking through some more of my comics from my own personal collection. And for this time, I just thought maybe, it's Batman issue 1, big occasion. Let's just go through some of my favorite Batman covers that I own from my own collection. So, it's not that much that I just picked out. This is sort of just a quick one for today. But let's get into it. We are starting off a bit small in a sense. It's a Silver Age classic, you could say. Batman issue 200. I love this cover. I love how simple it is in the sense of just having Batman and Robin holding up 200 special. But yeah, always love this cover. Very nice, throwback to the good times. Next up is Batman issue 296. Really like this cover. I just love when Scarecrow was so, menacing towards Batman in a sense. Then we got Batman issue 234. This one is a very nice copy. Neil Adams cover. I believe it is the first Silver Age appearance of Two-Face. You know what, let's switch it up a little. So we got Batman Beyond issue 1. It's not the, volume 1, issue 1. It's much later on, but I still really love this cover. It's so simple yet effective at the same time. It's a great comic book. Now this one I picked up just purely for the cover alone when I was scrolling through eBay. Batman issue 700. I love the way he looks in this. Then we got Batman issue 614. Nice Jim Lee cover. The detail is insane. I kind of feel bad for the Joker in a sense. Like, I would not want Batman's hands around my neck like that. Let's be real, he definitely deserves it though. Now this one is a very nice cover. It's from Nightfall. It is Batman Vengeance of Bane issue 2. I love putting these two together when you have like 1 and 2 next to each other since they form a bit of a bigger picture. Really nice. Issue 1 has Bane in the forefront and Batman's head in the background, but I sort of prefer this cover out of the two. Now this one might not be the best cover, or even, some people might not even really like it. This one's more for nostalgia reasons. I love this cover purely because I used to read the Arkham comics all the time as a kid. And so we got Batman Arkham City issue 1. Yeah, this one just holds such a special place in my heart because the amount of times I would read this specific comic over and over again. Now we've got some Year 1 coming in. So we've got Batman issue 405, Year 1 Part 2. Love this cover. Just, you know, the forming of Batman, how menacing he looks. Also, I mean, this story, was great. The penultimate issue is Batman issue 348. Again, very nice cover. I love Man-Bat in the background. Partially why I bought it was just because I thought it looked so good. And last, but definitely not least, is Batman issue 404, Year 1, Part 1. I love this cover. You know, Bruce is looking sad about his parents, but to be honest, I'm happy about his parents since they gave us this sort of comic cover. But that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing more of my comic collection. I have so much more to show and sort of just, you know, share with you guys. Today I was repping the GOAT himself, Morbius, so I hope you liked that little shirt too. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next one.